Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. Support American-made, tariff-free clothing with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com.
In a so-called free state, officials and stakeholders concoct solutions to problems often created by other bureaucrats and with little regard for infringements on the people. These stories are born at the apex of freedom and entrepreneurship. We foolishly advocate for the taxpayer. Brian's Beat presents Freedom Fools.
The Eagle flies into hour number 2. Let's take a look at the Brian's Beat quote of the day. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. That quote is from Warren Buffett. Been doing a lot of contemplating, thinking, and I went for a little inspiration, and I sought it and got it from a New Bedford hero, at least to some, despite the fact that he was only here for roughly 3 years, but Frederick Douglass definitely left a mark. Got a street in his name. Has his bust in a park. And I went over to take a peek, see, and to have one of my quiet conversations with him. And it dealt with the idea that the President of the United States or his administration is seriously talking about taking over South Station, like they have done with Union Station in Washington, D.C., and talking about bringing the universal term ICE to rain hell on the city of Boston. And why is this? Because apparently Mayor Michelle Wu won't comply with federal orders. Now, I've listened to the conversation on this station, and I still stand my ground. But many people are of the feeling, of the position, that Governor Healy and Michelle Wu are defying the federal government. And to a certain respect, you are absolutely correct. That is what they're doing. But Frederick Douglass reminded me that is okay. Our system allows that to happen. And I looked up at Frederick and I said, say what? And he reminded me that our system allows that to happen. And I said, well, what do you mean, Frederick? This is Frederick now, was a runaway slave. I left a slave state, Maryland, and made my way to New York and then Massachusetts. Territories that were deemed free areas. And although there was a Fugitive Slave Act, a couple of them, I was never turned in. And I thought about that. How is it that Frederick Douglass was allowed to be here, was allowed to be in New York and several other states, and preach the freedom gospel and not be arrested, be detained, not be sent back to Maryland. I said, we had the Fugitive Justice Act. Got it right here. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. The Fugitive Slave Act, or Fugitive Slave Law, was a law passed by the 31st United States Congress on September 18, 1850, as part of the Compromise of 1850 between Southern interests in the Compromise and the Northern Free States. The act was controversial. And it was a compromise because years earlier, there was another fugitive slave law. I believe that one actually dated back to the 1700s. So you're saying, well, you had these laws in the books. How is it that Frederick Douglass got away with it? And what does that have to do with today and people that are here illegally? Okay. First of all, that's an excellent question. So, there were numerous states in the North that were peed, let's say, at the Compromise of 1850 and the Fugitive Slave Act. And what these states did were pass their own laws that basically stopped federal agents from coming into their state and trying to just pick up people. And I need to back up just a little bit, because you did have this Fugitive Slave Act and law on the books. And what you had in effect were bounty hunters that would go around the several states, come up into the North, and they would pick up somebody who could have been a free person and nabbed him or her and dragged that person back to a slave owner, whether it was the right person or not. Now, you might say, well, how often did that happen? Well, there was a record of one particular time of 300. So it's not just one or two. And so it begs the question, doesn't that sound starkly familiar? The Trump administration saying that all the people that they rounded up and sent down to El Salvador, they were the worst of the worst. And then we find out there was a U.S. citizen, a person who should not have been deported, at least not to El Salvador. You know, we're finding out bits and pieces more that just ain't what the federal government has been telling us. So the states passed what are known as these personal liberty laws. Massachusetts is one of those states. Massachusetts took it one step further. And you can't blame this on Maura Healey or Michelle Wu or Charlie Baker or Andrea Campbell, any of the people in office now, because this stuff was done back in the 1800s. And instead of stating fugitive slaves or people deemed to be a slave, they state whomever, or whoever actually is the word that they used, whoever. Which means, if I can take you back about 20 years ago, when the effort was to try to make marriage between one man and one woman, when you say whoever, all of a sudden you've got a wide range, which in this particular case could easily and does mean folks that are undocumented here in the Commonwealth. I have often brought up that we should have a vote on whether we are a sanctuary state or not. We should vote about, if we are going to be a sanctuary state, how deep we take it. 47 potential ballot questions, not one of them does anything in regard to that. There is one question that makes you identify yourself when you go to vote, but while on the periphery, that could easily mean you don't want people that are here illegally voting. It also means that each and every one of us has to show an ID. So I'll leave that at that. I think you can piece it all together. Fact of the matter is, the personal liberty law here in the Commonwealth is still on the books. Still on the books. So when Maura Healey and Michelle Wu saying that they're following the laws, they are indeed following the laws of the Commonwealth. And what President Trump is doing is an executive order. You've got a state Supreme Judicial Court backing of what Michelle Wu and Maura Healey are backing. That's just the truth. You may not want to agree with it, but sometimes it's right there in black and white, or if you're looking on the internet, kind of a gray and a blue, but it's all right there for you to see. 508-996-0500. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian. Today? Brian is.
I know he is.
But maybe he's not.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you are.
Let me check. Ouch.
Yeah,
it is.
I don't want to get into the old laws, the new law that was the law. I mean, that happens on both sides of the aisle. Trump using laws from the 1800s to eject illegal aliens, and the state using laws from the past to cater to them, protect their rights for whatever they're worth. That's fine too. The thing is, there's so much damage that gets done through these political power plays, whether it's on Trump's power play or whether it's on Mayor Wu's power play, because the people that really need the help don't get the help. That's not the focus. The focus is about maintaining power and control and resist and reject and all this other crap, which, when you look at it from a perspective of results, there are no results. You had
I love you, man. I do. I mean,
I love you too.
It's finally coming home. This is not Republican, Democrat. There are the forces that are in power, and then there are the me's and you's.
That's it. And everything else is a distraction. So let's go back to the flag, because I've been looking at the flag stuff.
Which flag? the 51st star?
Well, it's, I think that a lot of people, from a common sense standpoint, said if the predominance of the people don't like the sword and the arm above the Indian on the flag, that they should take that part out, because that Indian that's on the flag is from the Massachusetts tribe, and the Massachusetts tribe was based around Boston, Saugus, and then if you go south, you get Wampanoags. You go further to the south into Rhode Island, you get Narragansetts. But that is honoring a Massachusetts tribe member, plus the fact that it obviously calls out a particular race of people, Indians, which have a special checkbox on every form for the federal government. So that to me is like taking the arm and the sword away. Okay, that makes sense. Although if you go into the website of the people that started this 34 years ago, they specifically call out the arm as being about white supremacy, and that's a white arm, which the funny thing is the arm is orange. So I'm like trying to figure out, where's the white part? I'm looking for the white.
I thought it was from the Union coat.
Well, maybe, but you can't. The coat's orange. The cuff on the coat is orange. Yeah. The hand is orange. And the sword is, I would say, they said it's a colonial sword, but it's got it doesn't have a scabbard on it, so it's not a claymore. It's tough to tell exactly what type of sword it is. But I do think it's funny is that they went right to white supremacy. We're going to fight that battle in the streets at some point. But when you look at those flag options they give, it's pretty sad, Brian. I mean, you got a seal that looks like it was the one with the fish and the one with the green and that had the eagle. That looks like it came right out of.
You know what? If I were to take one of those flags, put it down on the ground over at the Boston Common, and torch it, people would come out cheering. People would be cheering. Desecrate, desecrate.
One of them is a copy of the flag from Colorado. It's got if you just put the sun in the center, it's Colorado. The blue and the white and the mountain and the waves. All of this is crapola because it's trying to homogenize. That's not what the states were about. And the states found symbols that, each state has a bird, each state has a plant, each state has a flower, each state has a tree, why? Because they're like trying to show their uniqueness. Massachusetts has something that not a lot of other states maybe have, which is they have the Massachusetts Indian. And again, you and I talked about this yesterday. I don't think any of this respects the Indians. And I'm sure that they can go out and find somebody in the Indian tribe that says, I don't agree with this. And are they speaking for all the rest of the Indian tribes? And they're all in New England? And I don't think so. So,
I would tend to agree with you, but like everything else, someone has to be chosen as a representative or representatives. And I don't know how this woman, Solomon, was chosen to be on she's with the Ponkapog tribe, but she's there. But, I mean, she made the comment. I get the feeling she's looking at these three and she's saying, you got to be kidding me.
You're right.
My vote didn't count. I mean,
nope,
the stuff is putrid that they put out there.
Don't forget, liberal elitists, they know a lot more than me and you. It doesn't matter. That's the funny thing is you can take a young person out of college that's like 25 years old, and they really do think they know more than you. But the fact is that I can pick someone off the street in New Bedford that's 70 years old, and they have more experience and skills, and they know a lot more than that college student coming out of Harvard. May not be as book learning, know more about the history, know more about culture, know more about people. All these elitists, they take education and they put it above experience and wisdom, and that's a problem. This is a non-wisdom thing to change the flag. I mean,
I don't know that it's a non-wisdom thing. I think modification might be better. Have yourself an excellent Labor Day weekend. No pork. No pork.
Yeah, you got it.
No pork. 508-996-0500. That's how you get onto the program. We talked about this yesterday, and I'll tell you, if you haven't had a chance to look at the choices for the new state flag, I highly suggest that you take a little time and you go look, because if that doesn't make you vomit, then I don't know what will. I'm serious about that. Well, maybe not as heavy as the vomiting goes, but I mean these are pretty bad. A whale. Yeah, look, we've got a lot of whales, but I would think that many states have a whale. Turkey feathers. Yes, Thanksgiving started here. Turkey feathers. The Blue Hills. Again, you let me know. A Star in Waves. The Mayflower. Look, the Mayflower. That might be pretty good. Look, how about this? The Native American watching as the Mayflower crashes in to that rocket Plymouth. Be a real little hole, though, because have you ever seen the rocket Plymouth rock? The pebble that's encaged? Anyway, I mean, some of these are just absolutely crazy. Now, here's the good thing. The ones that I'm mentioning to you today and brought up on last night's show, they don't need to be the final options. They are the selected options at this time. There are going to be public meetings coming up, starting, I believe, later this month. And then a decision is going to be made sometime during the holidays. You know, the great day to do that would be either the Wednesday before or the Friday after Thanksgiving. But Elizabeth Solomon, she is on the commission that made these final recommendations. And then these recommendations will go to the legislature. But Solomon made this comment. She says, we have to recognize the reasoning behind this redesign in the first place, and that has come out of the local indigenous community to move from something that basically the indigenous community found offensive to something that completely ignores the indigenous community is incredibly problematic. And what she's getting at, and something I totally agree with, and that is the designs that we have right now do not include an indigenous member, a Native American. So maybe that's where we should start. We talked last night. Many people said yes, move the sword out of there, but keep the Native American. So, do you think that whatever the new Commonwealth, well, I'm going to give you another choice. Keep the flag the way it is right now, no change. Keep the flag the way that it is, but remove the sword. Final option is you don't have to have a Native American there or a sword. Your thoughts, 508-996-0500. Here we are, Freedom Fools on WBSM.
Every obstacle you will ever face is not only an obstacle, it's also an opportunity.
The way that they acted during severe threat and danger was nothing short of heroic.
A whale, turkey feathers, blue hills. Should we keep the state flag the way that it is today? Should we remove the saber or the sword? Or how about removing the Native American? 508-996-0500. Thank you and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brian. How are we doing today?
If I wasn't winging, I would be wanging.
Okay. I've got 2 points to make to back up my thing. One is I believe we should have the state flag without the sword, and the reasons why as follows. One, it pays respect to the Native Americans that were here. I mean, this is where the Europeans landed, and it kind of represents to me that there were Native Americans here before the Europeans show up. So it's showing some respect to the tribes, and I think that's very important because I don't think any other flag in the Union does that. And I think as this being the first place, it should do that, show respect to the tribes. And the other reason is I've seen 3 or 4 proposed flags, and they look like Caribbean flags to me. You know, like they're not United States. I mean, they look like, I'm on the Bahamas or something, the way they look. And it's like,
or somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
But to me, paying respects to the tribes that were here, because this is where we landed. Well, not we, but, the Europeans landed. I think it's the most important political statement this state can make.
Tend to agree with you, man. Thank you for your call.
Yep.
All right. Bye now. 508-996-0500 to get on. Hello.
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 Yes, on the state flag. Yes, the 13 colonies, without the Native American people or the indigenous people, these colonies won't even be here due to the harshness of the winters and everything else. And the Native Americans turned around and helped them out and let them thrive in the country.
I've heard that. Hold on a second. I'm going to let you finish. I've heard that before. But if you look at a map of the world,
yep,
where the Puritans and the Pilgrims came from is farther north than where we are. So I would like to believe that they have very harsh winters, or as harsh a winter as what we have here. Go ahead.
Have you ever been to Europe and England?
Yes and yes.
The winters aren't as harsh as ours over here. See, they get on the vortex when we get like a northeaster and stuff like that. Ours is a little bit chillier than what they have over there. But as I was saying, think about Leif Erikson, who was here in the 1300s, from Newfoundland all the way down to Connecticut, right against the indigenous people. But the thing is, we should stay. It pays homage to them anyway. Helping.
All right. So you keep the Indian. Do we keep the saber?
Yeah, I can take it or leave it, to be honest with you. And believe it or not, and just like if you mentioned about Dartmouth High School, paid homage to their logo. It's not a mascot. Why take it? Because Dartmouth was an Indian territory, Indian town. And they want to take that away once they get rid of the Native American on the flag, which is Massasoit. So
there's a difference between the logo in Dartmouth, which really doesn't depict anything horrendous, and the sword.
Woodlands Indian, because I'm the designer of it.
Say again.
I reiterated that whole logo. I changed it.
I get it, but you didn't do the U.S. flag. Excuse me, the Commonwealth's flag, and so that's why I'm asking. There is a difference between having a sword pounding in the back of somebody's neck, and
no, it shouldn't.
So that's why I asked. But you said you could take it or leave it. What are you going to do? Put it in and then take it out?
Because they want to. If they take the sword, they want to take everything away from that middle.
Think so?
They want to completely redesign.
Oh, I know. I mean, but here we get a chance to speak, and whether we show up at a public meeting face to face or we do it virtually, we still get to fight for the Native American.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but I think,
just a thought.
I don't think it should. I could see altering it to a point, but do not get rid of the Native American within it.
Gotcha. Thank you. I do appreciate it. 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm, if I were doing any better, there would be three of me.
Nice. You get to share the wealth with everybody. That's cool. Hey, Massachusetts tribe, that's what the state is named after, so they want to change the name of the state. You know the real reason behind this, I think? Keep the flag. Keep it the way it is. It's been there since like 1908, I think.
What, the state flag?
I think so.
It's been here since the 1700s.
And what they're upset about is that Latin phrase underneath, which means, by the sword we seek peace, but peace only under liberty. Mm-hmm. These communists don't like that phrase, and that's why they want that whole flag redesigned. And you're going to let a bunch of bozos up at the State House decide this, or the people are going to vote whether to keep it? Will the people be voting to keep the flag just the way it is? Will they be allowed to vote?
You know, great question. And maybe this is something that should be I don't know how you would do it. Keep the flag the way it is. Change the flag. I think that would be the starting point. Vote. Do we keep it or do we recall the flag?
Because I think what really bugs them is that Latin phrase underneath it. And it translates to, by the sword we seek peace, but peace only under liberty. And these communists in Massachusetts, they don't like liberty, so they want to get rid of that. Have you heard this new AI-driven Israeli system called Gideon? It's going to 24/7 monitor the internet, everything to assess threats and stop them before they happen. Have you heard about this?
I think it's already working, isn't it?
It might have just started up like recently.
No, they let you know that they're starting it up, which means they already started it.
They're just letting you know. Well, he claims that if it would have been in place, this guy Aaron Cohen that was an IDF member, he was on Cuomo, he's on Fox News, bragging that we need this. We're not going to recognize this country in a little while.
He said if it was in place, what?
That the Minnesota shooting would not have happened. They're trying to scare everybody to create this.
Well, now how do we know? Because the Minnesota shooters dossier that they found on the internet would not have.
Those are his words.
They would have been able to seek it out. My guess is they're going to have to do that with everybody every time. But maybe it would have stopped the guns from being bought. I don't know.
Well, I know that you can choose non-binary. Supposedly that got changed, but the last time I talked to the owner of the gun shop in my town, he said, I don't know if I still have the old slips or the 4473s, I think they're called, that I hand out to people. It still says non-binary. When I run out of them, then I reorder them, then we'll see if that gets changed. But we're headed toward it's a ridiculous world. You know
we're heading toward it, or we are there.
It's going to get worse. We're here already, but it's going to increasingly get worse and worse till it'll be the USSRA.
USSRA. There's a good one right there. Hey, thank you for the call. Actually, it kind of makes sense though. You're just adding one letter. I've always been shaky about United We Stand, as in UES. No, it's USA. People are going to say, now you're just getting semantical. Well, it's kind of how it starts. 508-996-0500. We have been chirping about the flag of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Yesterday, some committee, I knew that we had a committee. This is what they're called. The Massachusetts Seal, Flag, and Motto Advisory Commission. Narrowed down to 3 selections for each category, down from 1,165 total submissions. They say from residents. I did not submit. At any rate, the selection for the new flag part: 6 turkey feathers, a star and waves upon a blue hill, and a Mayflower. They all feature the number 6 because we were the 6th state accepted in to as a united colony. Was that united colony? Yeah, I guess it was, as a united colony at that particular time. Submissions for the new seal: a North Atlantic right whale and white chickadee. The star from the current flag turned into a sun on a stylized Massachusetts landscape, and 6 turkey feathers surrounding a chickadee. Do you get the impression that the people that are responsible here, they want you to choose something with a chickadee? I'm not even sure what a chickadee is. And then the 3 choices for a new motto, none include the old motto. The flag, the old flag, is not one of your choices. And the seal is not, the current seal is not a choice. Why? Why is the Native American gone? The mottos, the 3 that you can choose from. By the way, and I want to reiterate this, even though these are considered the final options do not need to be these. According to Kate Fox, Kate is the executive director of the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, and she is also one of these board members. I think she's one of the co-chairs of this particular board. And so, again, we will know more about when they're going to hold these meetings. I keep on trying to find a date. I do know that the legislature is slated to have a vote on this in December, but what they're going to vote on is supposedly the final product. So, although I've mentioned these as the final list, we can still turn that upside down if we want to. 508-996-0500. Hello.
Hi, a chickadee is a small bird. You know what a sparrow is? A bird?
Yes.
A chickadee is in the sparrow family. And the only difference between a sparrow is like a brown one. A chickadee is got a little white under its chin with a black marking under its chin too, and it's got more white into it. But
and why do we want a chickadee as part of our flag?
Because it's a state bird.
I thought the turkey was our state bird.
No.
I know better. I really do. But the turkey is better off. Your radio is killing me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I thought I turned it down. Not enough. I'm sitting right next to it. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, but as far as I know, the chickadee is the state bird.
I think you're right. But the point being, most people don't know it, but they do know the turkey.
Oh, sure. I got a family of turkeys every year that go right down my dirt driveway by the woods. It's an auxiliary road to the property, the next door neighbor's property, so they always go down there early in the morning and they come back up in the afternoon. Then they go into the trees and they roost up there. That's where they sleep at night.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should do about this flag?
I like that flag. I think we should leave it alone.
Which one?
The flag, the original Massachusetts state flag, is a beautiful flag.
With the
nothing
sword.
Wrong with it. I love the Indians. I love everybody. Try to anyway.
You like the saber?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Because of what the saying is. I heard somebody say it, like the atom bomb. If one country has the atom bomb and nobody else does, nuclear weapons, then they're in control. But if like Russia has it and we have it, and, that is true. But originally, now it keeps us from fighting each other. So and that's what the saying is on the flag. That's what it means, sort of, I guess.
I don't know. I look at the Native American and how they were pushed off of their land, pushed to the mountain states, to the Southwest. To me, it's very derogatory to them. That sword.
Yeah, let's take that vote on that.
Well, I think that there should be a vote.
Yeah, and that's the fairest way, and maybe have a vote if you're just Indians, Massachusetts Indian, the Wampanoags, or a bunch of other ones we have. Just have them do a separate vote and see what they say, also, and weigh it out and see what happens.
Well, can't they vote the same time that we do? They get a vote.
Right.
They can in an election.
but with statistics, though, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be fair. Just see what they have to say first. You know?
I get you.
Yeah.
But
okay,
but is it binding? If so they vote, and then we go and vote.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. Like in Dartmouth with the Indians, the Dartmouth Indians, the sports program. The town voted on that, and with no disrespect to the Indians, I think the Indians would agreed with them. That's what
I would agree with you. My guess is that there are more Native Americans in disagreement with the way today's state flag is than anywhere near the amount of people disagreed with the Dartmouth Indian emblem.
Right. The left is trying to change everything in this country, and this is a very deep leftist state, and they just want to just take everything away, and I don't know. I just don't agree with it. I like originality. That's my personal ideology.
All right, and that's fair. But are you the type that let's keep things original, even if it's wrong?
How can you say it's wrong?
I said my question is, do you like originality even if it's wrong?
No, I would.
Because originality could also mean, you like Jim Crow too. Why change it?
Well, I don't know about that.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's. I wish things were the way they were. Here's the thing that we know is a constant in life: change happens every second of every minute of every day.
Correct. I know that, but it's just history. I don't like changing history. That's history.
Gotcha. Thanks for the call.
Okay.
I do appreciate it. You too. Remember before, if you've been listening, I was reading about the Fugitive Slave Act, and then we've got what was it called? The Personal Liberty Act that, pardon the expression, whitewashed the Fugitive Slave Act in many states. Same thing is going on with immigration laws right now. 508-996-0500. Hello.
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 The word Massachusetts is an Indian name for land of rolling hills. I wouldn't put a whale or anything applying to the seacoast, because Massachusetts goes all the way to the west where there's lots of trees and forests and the Berkshires. It's a land of rolling hills. And what they need to do is just make an outline of Massachusetts, put in those rolling hills and everything, and if you want number 6, put 6 chickadees flying in the sky. They look like sparrows. I have a lot in front of my house if anyone wants them.
Are you selling them or giving them away?
Oh, no, they constantly want me to feed them. They're black-capped. That's the Massachusetts one, with a little grayish black head. I would do that. Just leave it so that every time you put a person in a painting, on a statue, now in this day and age, everyone disagrees.
So
you got to take the people out. Just make the land. That's it.
So what's your real choice about the flag? Keep it, remove the saber, remove the Indian, start from scratch?
Well, when I look at it, it feels scary to me. I don't like the look of it. The overall, the whole thing scares me. And I want to see anyone who could draw that flag.
I mean, that flag was drawn back in the 1800s.
No, I think they should just make it Indian by using the word Massachusetts, and don't put some Latin name. Just put the interpretation of the Indian word is land of rolling hills. It's about what I'm telling you the translation is.
I got you on that. Remove the sword?
No sword, nothing.
No sword. Okay. But what about the Native American?
Interpret the land belonged to them.
How do you do that?
You just make the land and you put that it was called Massachusetts. It wasn't named by the English.
Do you think people would really... I mean, obviously, you've got the name, but I would tend to believe if you don't study it in school, you're not... Let me try it this way. If you live in Kansas, you hear the name Massachusetts, you're not necessarily thinking of any Native American.
Well, Milwaukee, Minnesota, all of those, a lot of them are Indian names. They were named by the Indians, all those regions.
But people don't know that.
Well, maybe they could if we make it on the flag.
Well, or you leave the Native American on there.
I don't think we really use the state flag that much. Not as much as the American flag.
Well, I would agree with you on that, but the state flag is flying, I don't know how many different buildings in New Bedford, and it flies everywhere. You go up to UMass Dartmouth, it's there. You go downtown, it's there. You know, it's everywhere.
Well, they could, if they could fly the Ukraine flag with just some 2 colors of land, then we could do it too.
Maybe the Ukraine, I don't know, maybe Ukraine didn't have Native Americans.
It's a symbolic flag, but it's their national flag.
I suppose. Well, look, on our national flag, we don't have any Native American. Our flag, 13 colonies and then a star for each state. And that's what we've grown up with. But here in the Commonwealth, we grew up with the Native American on our flag.
Yes.
Just saying.
Okay. But I think we took their land, so
I think you're right.
It's
so at least we can keep them on the flag.
Well, not with a knife above them.
No, you can take that off.
Well, I think it's a very too busy a flag. It has too many designs in it. If you were trying to describe it, you would be using maybe 1,000 words to describe that flag.
I got you. All right, got to let you go. Thank you much. Have yourself a good one. 508-996-0500. We'll continue this during hour number 3.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
And that's what that Native American...
Coach, the energy out there felt different. What changed for the team today?
It was the new game day scratchers from the California Lottery. Players everything. Those games sent the team's energy through the roof.
Are you saying it was the off-field play that made the difference on the field?
Hey, a little play makes your day, and today, it made the game. That's all for now.
Coach, one more question.
Play the new Los Angeles Chargers, San Francisco 49ers, and Los Angeles Rams Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
Support American-made, tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. They aren't affected by tariffs because their clothing products never left the U.S. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com.